and welcome to the best thing we watched. Just checking what we're doing. I'll remember in a second. Welcome to the best thing you watched this week. We have Chris from Movies and Munchies, myself from the Ruby Tuesday, where we talk about movies and TVs or general entertainment stuff that we watched and found entertaining, and then we tell you about it as to why we think it is the best, because our opinions matter in the greatest schemes of the world. Two white bearded men in their young middle ages.
I'm only middle-aged if I'm going to be 90.
Right, okay. Gandalf. I'm still young. Yes. What was I saying?
You were insulting me on my age. I don't know.
I said two white middle-aged men. We will talk about the internet stuff. There's been some stupid internet stuff that's happened. We're going to talk about that in the podcast section, as well as good entertainment internet stuff. My brain is on a record loop.
That was good.
And then for our Patreon this week, we're going to talk about the best posters. Last week we talked about the worst movie posters. This week we're going to talk about the best posters. I'm excited, but I also found it very difficult to do 5, so I didn't. I just put a whole bunch in there, and I guess I'll have to
narrow it down from
choose
there.
5 as we go. Yeah, so that's fun. Do join us. Find us on our social media pages. Find the links down below to the Patreon and our individual YouTube pages, and also our individual podcasts. Wherever you listen to a podcast, we are there stalking you from the darkness of the internet.
That sounds foreboding.
And after all that, I would like to say congratulations to MSN, I think it is, who guessed last week's questions, and on my channel and on yours, Chris.
It was Gary Laybourne who correct.
Okay,
yeah.
And the two movies were, Chris?
Oh, yeah, for me, Jerry Maguire and Casablanca.
Yes, it was. Okay, so I'll start with this week's.
Okay.
I have to pull up the words, otherwise I'm going to get them wrong. I don't know if I can get the accent right for this one.
Oh, geez, you're going to do voices again. I love this. This is outstanding.
Well, this is terrible. I don't know how to do this voice. This is me trying to do an American accent. It's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. No, that's it's got to be gruffer. It's only after we've lost anything. No, it's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. Do you have any idea, Chris?
No, I don't. That's a
excellent.
good one.
Okay.
That's
okay.
That's a toughie.
And for the second one.
Ooh, okay, bonus round.
Yeah. Okay, bonus round, because I do 2. Okay. It is not our abilities that show that we are truly... No, try again. It is not our abilities that show what we truly are. It is our choices.
That's a good one.
Cool.
Yes. I like that one.
Yeah. Oh, you know that one?
I know that one.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Let us know in the comments down below, and we will shout you out, the first person on either channel. If you're listening to this on the podcast, reach out to us on audio platforms or Twitter, and we will give you a shout out next week's podcast. Chris.
Yes.
Have you got a question for us?
I do. Have you ever accidentally started a fire?
I mean, as a well, I spent my first 16 years of my life in South Africa, and we do play with fire a lot because there's a lot of time spent outside. My sons have. Oh wait, no, I have. I tend to want to have, like, my relaxing time is like I'm a girl. That sounds sexist in itself, but have a bath with candles and read.
Oh,
and I have like lots of candles around the side. Yeah, okay. So that's generally that you see the internet depict women in a bath relaxing. I like to do that. I take a book or a podcast and I just chill. If I've had like a sore back, it's nice and soothing. Put some Epsom salts in. The thing is, sometimes I'll use a candle and I'll leave it running on the side because, I forget.
You're relaxed when you get
problem is the candles get so hot and that the wax gets really, like, it melts into the little container. But if you've ever taken water then and you splashed water onto the wax, it goes and it bubbles over. There was a black stain on the side of our bath for a while. I had to scrub it. It actually did come, and it's a little bit of a warped plastic area. We once hid dog food container. We have a little dog food plastic container inside our oven because our dog used to get into it to eat, and so because but I forgot.
Like a locking it away kind of thing, like to put the dog on the diet,
like
basically.
Putting it away.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a little tub, and we're trying to stop him from getting his nose in it. So I put it in the oven, or Kirsten put it in the oven, and then I was like, I'm gonna cook pizza, and didn't know that it was in there. It didn't burn the house down, but good. We had to clean out the oven thoroughly, because the plastic had melted into the dog food and there were toxic fumes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm surprised our carbon monoxide alarm didn't go off. Because that wasn't good.
But
anyway, there's too many stories for you. Yeah, not good at all. Brown melted plastic into dog kibble. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I think because we're about the same age, growing up, I mean, so you grew up in South Africa. I grew up in the United States, though. And being a younger boy, especially in the summertime, I was outside all the time. And what better thing to do than to light things on fire?
Yeah, fire is great.
Oh, fire! Yeah, no, I have so many fire stories. I mean, like briefly, we would pour gasoline on the top of our skateboards, light it on fire, and then push it down the court. Because what would happen is, as it went, the gas would fall off the back of the skateboard or off the sides, but it's on fire. So it's like leaving this, Back to the Future type of.
This is like Back to the Future, like leaving a line. Amazing. Yes, see, I want to do that now. Give me ideas. Kids, you listening?
Yeah, are you? Ooh. Yeah. This is not a tutorial by any means, YouTube, just in case you're listening and you think, oh, we're going to flag this. No, it's not. Okay, sparklers. Where so
they're not meant to hurt you at all, Chris.
Well, they're in California. They're now banned. The true sparklers, the ones that have the little metal strip, and then it's like this molten metal all the way around, and you light it and it goes.
Yeah, why is it banned? It's not banned yet.
Well, because it's like welding basically in your hand, and then you throw it and it lights everything on fire. But did you know that if you take a whole bunch of them and you hammer them, you can get all of that stuff off of the little rail,
you can get that stuff
and
off.
Then you make it into a mountain. And then, now it takes a little while to light it, but when you light it, now you have this giant molten thing in the middle of your street that's just.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. My best one, though.
I have so many ideas.
Oh, my best one truly is, and I was little. My mom, I don't know why she did this, but my cousin and my cousin was over at our house. I was probably like 4. And she started the barbecue outside. So it's just in a Weber barbecue, and the fire's going to get the coals ready and stuff like that. Me and my cousin, who's only like a year or two older than me, we're in the backyard swimming. No big deal. She goes inside because, again, this is the 70s, the late 70s with, parents would go inside where kids are swimming, even if they're super young, because that's what we did. You either died or you survived everything, and so we're tougher for it. So she goes inside, and me and my cousin walk over to the barbecue, and we're looking at it, and there's flames and stuff. So we reach and grab sticks, because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? When you're camping, you put sticks in the fire, right? Well, yes. So we put sticks in there, and then we're holding them, and then it wouldn't go out. So what I did is threw it on the ground, except when I threw it on the ground, for whatever reason, my dad had a grass pile that was kind of like a mulch pile, which was also...
Was that to start the fire?
Yeah, well, it was right next to the fence also.
Kindling. All right.
So we grab the hose, because now the fence is on fire. We grab the hose, throw it into the fire, turn it on. We think it's turned on. We don't really know. When we go jump in the pool. as more and more of the fence is burning, we figure that crap, we need to go. So I run inside, tell my mom.
Wait. You turn the hose pipe on, but you don't wait to see if the fire is out?
Oh no, it wasn't out. No, he was raging at this point. I mean, I'm 4 years old. Okay, I'm 4 years old. My cousin is like maybe 6. So.
All right. Okay. So you don't know.
The critical thinking skills are not totally there yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it makes sense. The hose, it's going to spray out water. You throw it into the thing, and it'll put it out. Right? I don't know.
And it'll put the fire.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
So flash forward to the fire department coming. Me getting scolded by firemen because I just burned down the neighbor's fence and almost the houses and. Yeah, that was my first foray into pyromania, and then from there, that's when the lighting the the skateboards on fire, and anyway,
great.
There you go. Yeah.
Did you ever take like a deodorant can and light it on fire?
Oh, dude, I just did that like the other night. I had a Black Widow outside, and I didn't have any bug spray, so I grabbed an aerosol can and a lighter, and
You're not ever worried about the flame going back into the can?
Nah. Dude, I don't. When I fix light switches and electrical outlets and everything in my house, I don't turn the power off.
Cool. Health and safety would have a field day with you.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, I have changed breakers on my electrical panel without turning off the electricity.
Is it because you like to live life dangerously, or you don't like life, Chris?
It's I feel that stupid should hurt. And so if I do something dumb, I need to know about it. Now, there have been so many times changing outlets where I have shocked myself or I have blown a breaker because I have.
But you haven't learned.
No, because you know what? Do you know how difficult it is at night when it's dark to change an outlet on the wall if you can't have the lights on?
Torch?
And then I have 2 hands. How am I going to, no.
Torch in your mouth.
What? No. So you leave the electricity on, you switch out the the outlet, you push it back into the wall, and you're good to go.
I understand. Yeah. I just like my life.
Yeah. Most of the electricity, at least here, it's AC, it's alternating current, so it won't.
It'll be fine anyway. Yeah. It shouldn't just zap into you.
Yeah.
They've got those. Yeah. No, cool. All right.
So what have you accidentally set on fire, right?
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I'm sure that'll spark some interesting stories. Pyromaniac, sound off.
Yes, please. We know you're out there.
And 13 minutes in, we're going to start talking about the entertainment stuff, the best thing we watched this week. Would you like to start, Chris?
Sure. Yes. Okay. So I've been teasing this for like 2 weeks. I'm so excited to talk about this. Brian and Charles. Yes. It's finally released. Except I found out it's not releasing until July 8th in the UK.
Yeah, I looked for it and I was like,
oh goodness.
I can't.
So this is spoiler free. I'm not going to spoil it. It's just, it is a very wholesome, feel good movie that will genuinely make you laugh because of its quirkiness. So you have Brian, who is this, he's middle-aged. He's probably, he could be late 30s. He's probably closer to 50. Hard to tell his exact age, but it doesn't really matter. He's just this, he's this quirky guy who lives alone, who very pure-hearted. Like he sees the best in everybody and all of the potential in every single thing. So that leads him to be an inventor. And most of his stuff, all of his stuff doesn't work. It's the most ridiculous things that he invents. And you just look at him and you're like, but he's happy, and he puts smiles on other people's face because he's genuinely nice. And one day he finds a whole bunch of random stuff on the side of the road and decides he wants to build a robot. And so he does. Okay. And eventually it comes to life. And he explains it, just how he thinks it comes to life. And it has a voice box, and it, of course, you have to suspend some belief here because it's
he's building a robot.
He's building a robot, but there's no like any computer that we know of in there. So Charles is the name, but Charles gives himself the name because Charles can speak and also learns. And so they then, it's Brian being giddy that he has a companion and a friend, but you have Charles who is at first just learning, and so very basic. But the progression is quick, so it's not boring by any means. I mean, it goes from him being like a kid on simple things and the simple understandings to becoming a teenager in like 2 days, and that's then where you get the banter. Where if anybody has had a teenager or has a teenager, some of the comments that you get, some of the interactions that you get, the huffing and the puffing, oh, I want to do this. Well, you can't do this. Why? Just because. That's the best reason I can give you right now. Around the door, slam the door, or whatever. Anyway, their interactions are beautiful. They're so great, so funny because the little quips here and there, and you have antagonists that I believe are they're over the top. And I think like my biggest criticism of the movie would be that these are like caricatures of bad guys. And they didn't need to be, because Brian is so pure and so nice that truly anything that differs from that counters that is going to be seen as a negative. Like, so if you have somebody who's just mean, and they don't even have to be like really, really bad mean, they just are just generally just a sour person, they're going to come across as an antagonist, but the villains are still great. I mean, they do an excellent job. So it's not even a complaint about them or a criticism on them. It's just that the dichotomy between the two is so great. I mean, that, you know what I mean? Like, they're so polar opposites that it didn't necessarily need to be that much. But this is a movie that I will buy. I've watched it twice now. I saw it at Sundance. I then saw a screener of it just to refresh me, and I loved it just as much going through. I mean, it left a smile on my face. The whole thing. It's beautiful too. Go ahead. Yeah.
Does it have the British dry humor?
Yes. Oh, it's shot documentary style. So Brian is talking to the camera. I don't know if they,
weird. Okay.
I don't know if they ever speak. There may be one or two times where you hear like the documentarian asking a question or something or clarifying, but for the most part, I mean, it's him just.
So is it like a mockumentary?
I mean, I guess it would fit in that because it's not truly documentary and it's comedic, but it's not. It's like day in the life of, really. Like, you're just following.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But he's aware of the camera. We're aware of the camera. The camera is not, though, a character. The camera is just observing.
So the camera movements are going to be all kind of shaky, handheld. But not all over the place.
There is a little bit of that sometimes, but for the most part, it's very steady cam. It's very easy to see.
Okay.
It's because I think also that Brian is he's not an overly demonstrative person, so he's not running all over the place or doing any of the things. So when he's traveling, he's walking. Like, there's one scene where he has an invention that he's showing off for the camera, and the camera's just basically locked down at that point, and we just watch him doing his thing as he gets farther and farther away from the camera.
I want to see it because I like the design of the robot that is like square box. So random, like the worst design you could think of. Just like box.
Yeah, it is like, this is one for the family to watch. Which, there's not.
You get that feeling.
Yeah, there's not always a lot of those movies out where the whole family can go, and you, like, from basically any age. I don't think there's really any profanity at all. There's minor violence. That's probably the worst thing in it. So, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess I'm gonna start with. We've been doing a lot of we've been diving into the Indian world. I think we recently did RRR, and then we did Vikram, and what was the other one? KGF.
KGF, yeah.
Yeah. And those have been interesting. I didn't love all of them. I think RRR was great. Vikram was excellent, probably the best of the three, although I like RR's craziness. This movie, however, is probably the best story, and I would equate to the quality of a decent Hollywood film that would be put up for, like, not an award, but just one of those that people talk about. It's also gonna make you cry, like 100%. I doubt if you have a heart and are a being with emotions, then this will make you cry. 777 Charlie is based on a true story about a guy that is he's not having a good time in life. He's depressed. He's just not doing well, without doing spoilers. And he comes across this dog, and we see this dog escape at the beginning of the film from being like captured. Like, does this epic smash through glass and runs out, and he comes across this dog, and he helps a little, but he's not taking it on. He doesn't want a dog. He doesn't want a pet. And the first hour of the film just kind of spends dog trying to get into the guy's life, and the guy not having any of that. Second hour of the film is dog and dude having a great relationship together, just them bonding as becoming literally best friends, man's best friend.
Nice.
Third hour of the film is the journey for the dog, because something is happening to the dog, and so the man is giving the dog its like best days. And I tell you, that last hour, I literally had a lump in my throat the whole way. There were times I don't know if I can handle this, man. This is hard. And coming from a person that's had, like, my dad did guide dogs for the blind, and we've had dogs our whole family life. We had various different dogs, and I have my own dog. And so if you've ever had dogs die, you understand the pain and the joy of having pets. They really are family members. They are extended family members. There's a reason they connect with you on an emotional level the way they do. Probably because they can't talk back or argue with you. They just love you unconditionally, no matter what. You know, you can shout at them or be angry with them because you're having a bad day. 2 minutes later, they're back wiggling and going, "I love you. You know what? This is the best day ever." My dog wakes me up like that. Best day ever. Woo! Give them food. Best day ever. You know, that is the sort of joy that you need around you all the time. And that this film captures that relationship, like those best moments, but also has you fighting for the relationship, but also has you willing the outcome that you want, but you're not necessarily going to get. It's hard not to do spoilers for this film because the premise is a dog that's sick after the dog escapes a horrible beginning of its life, and then the whole way through, just like, yes, but why? But it's a real story. Now, there is a great outcome, but the filmmaking of the journey is fantastic. Reminds me a little bit of stuff like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. You know, that kind of visual ride, adventure, escapism that you're going on, man and his dog experiencing life together. And he hadn't really experienced life. But what I really liked about it is that it shows how a dog has the ability to fix without it doing really anything, just loving it on you and being around you. And man, I was just like, yeah, this film is great. Now watch my tears, just like my wife came back. She'd been studying for something that she's a project manager, and she just passed the Prince 2 thing. It's a really big deal. She's really happy, and she sees me as I come back from my movie, and she wants to express her joy, but she sees me and realizes that I'm not in the head zone to celebrate. I'm in the head zone just to be melancholy and deal with the plethora of emotions that I'm feeling. That's the type of film you're in for. It's brilliant, but yeah.
Would you rewatch it?
Be aware, for sure.
Okay.
No.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. It's like, would you rewatch Marley and Me?
I've never seen Marley and Me because I've heard how it ends, because I don't do that movie.
Right.
That's so.
Okay. I don't know. I loved it. I want to experience the fun that they had. It reminds me a lot of actually Turner and Hooch. It has that sort of feel to it.
Okay.
There's that kind of banter between them.
Oh, yeah.
Hooch, this is not your room. Hooch, don't eat this. This is not your toilet. It's that kind of stuff for that first hour. It really gets you into their relationship. But then they find this balance, and he ends up being the dog on the sidecar of his motorbike or in his backpack. They do life together. Oh. It's really good.
I was bummed because this was not playing near me at all. And
I was lucky.
Yeah. Everybody's saying
because it's so few. It's scattered around.
Man. Oh, it's like I want to see it. It sounds wonderful, but also knowing that it.
Oh my gosh! I think it is coming. It's probably be bought by either Amazon or Netflix. It's definitely one of those that'll just crop up on the platform soon.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Good. I mean, I'm.
I mean, it's a 5-star film. Yeah. Like I gave it straight, no qualms. Just
beautiful, everything. But just it's how it hits you, like right those.
But it's emotionally damaging.
Yeah. Yeah. See, those are always the tough ones for me too, because I want to see them. I want to experience them because of the filmmaking and just the story that is crafted and all that goes into that. But then there's also that part of me that's like, yes, but do you want to do that to yourself? But
there's so many dog movies. How many dog movies actually don't end happily? I mean, if you think about
all of them.
White Fang, like almost all of them just have an end, and it comes down to any animal movie. Like, I really don't want to watch them because I know generally they're gonna die in some horrible way, and I can't handle it. I prefer the animals to the humans every time.
Oh, all the time, yeah.
Kill the humans off.
Totally. Absolutely. Yep. No qualms about it.
Humans suck.
Yep.
Save the animal.
Well, and that's why, in the last several months, there have been 2 dog movies that were kind of unexpected, that I went in like, I don't know about. One was Dog with Channing Tatum, which hit me on like a whole bunch of different levels, which I didn't expect it to be as funny as it was. And I didn't expect for it to make me cry when it did, because it was like, whoa, out of the blue, holy crap. And then the other one was on Netflix, and it was Rescued by Ruby. And this is one that I thought was just going to be your Lifetime movie, cheesy, horribly acted, everything. It was cheesy. It was over the top. It was kind of a Lifetime movie. And yet it hooked me in, and it didn't, like, the dog didn't die. Like, so spoilers there, but hey, I know a lot of people who watch dog movies want to know,
I mean, that's part of, like, I say at the beginning of my review, spoilers, I'm just going to talk about whether the dog dies or not, because people want to know. I can't, and I totally get it.
Yeah, that's a make it or break it thing. So I totally understand that. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the animals are so loving that. Okay.
I mean, even in cheesy films like Mighty Joe Young, the giant gorilla that's Disney, I'm like, save the gorilla, screw the humans.
Yeah. Always. I mean, it's okay. Well, it's on my list to watch. I just know that I'll just bring a box of Kleenex and sit there and. Are you crying? Yes, I totally am crying. Thank you. We're good to go here. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
I'm going to get my man cry on and be totally good with it.
Nice.
Oh, all right. So I saw a movie. It doesn't come out until this coming week, at least in the U.S. It may come out. I don't know when it comes out in the U.K. or worldwide, but it's Baz Luhrmann's Elvis. Do you know when this comes out for you? Does it?
It comes out Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I haven't even done a review on this yet.
I saw your tweet. Your first impressions.
Oh yeah, it is. I think it's going to be polarizing, and I think more so because it's Baz Luhrmann. Because if you think like Wes Anderson, there are people that love Wes Anderson and there are people that hate Wes Anderson. It's kind of the same.
Remind me what else Baz has done?
He did Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. He did Moulin Rouge, Australia, Great Gatsby. So I have not seen Australia.
Yeah, I thought The Great Gatsby was poo.
So, and that's I mean, he has a style. Now, that's the thing. Like, it has been a while, like quite a while, since I have seen a Baz Luhrmann movie. The first handful of minutes of this were an assault to the senses. And I was like, you know what? This is a 2 hour and 40-minute movie. If it's going to be like this the entire way through, I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy this. And it then reminded me as
Wait, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yes, it is long.
Oh.
No,
okay.
wait. This is on the best thing I watched this week.
I know, but still,
it is.
Jeez.
Okay, so there is the signature visual craziness and strangeness that Baz Luhrmann is known for. So if you see his other movies, spinning camera in, things overlaid on top of each other, different things like that has its place in this. Excuse me. I didn't notice the time at all. 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Really?
I was sucked in. Austin Butler, who plays Elvis.
I mean, he looks amazing from the trailers, yeah.
What intrigued me before this movie even came out was Lisa Marie Presley came out praising it, praising the performance, praising everything.
I saw that.
So
that's amazing in itself. Yeah.
Yeah. So that tells you something. At least she, as seeing a depiction of her dad, can get behind it and be like, no, this is good. He would appreciate this. He would be on board for this. Okay. So that's a good starting point. Daniel Day-Lewis, how he disappears into roles sometimes. Actually, a lot of the time, like you never see the actor. Yeah. I never saw Austin Butler in this. Now, I don't really know Austin Butler. He's basically an unknown for me. I know he's been in some other stuff, but I saw Elvis. Like the mannerisms, I mean, down to like just the little finger movements that he would do while he was holding out his hand. I mean, it's these tiny things that then when you combine the way that his look, I thought the music was wonderful. He sings it all.
Wait, he does?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
talented dude then.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's what are my so many thoughts
Tom
here.
Hanks as well. Talk about Tom Hanks.
Have you ever seen Tom Hanks as a bad guy?
I've never seen Tom Hanks as a bad guy.
Tom Hanks is evil. The way, and it's not your over the top necessarily. It's this subtle type of like if you take umbrage. I'm not comparing him necessarily. I said this to my son, and my son was like, I don't know about that. But
what, Dolores?
Yes. Okay, so Dolores Umbridge is way worse than He Who Has No Name.
Yeah, she's awful.
Yeah, I mean, Voldemort has nothing on her. But
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so, but I mean, she comes across though, right, to everybody. She puts off this air and this persona of nice.
There's a vibe,
and
for sure.
Even though she's utterly evil. Well, Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker is putting off that same vibe. He's putting off this, I'm here to help. He's manipulative. He's, and he's actually our storyteller. So it's...
because you get that from the trailer, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's, some would make me out to be the villain of this story. And he's got this weird accent, which makes sense once you know the whole story. Like I'm not a big Elvis person. Okay, so I don't come in with a crap ton of like, I'm an Elvis expert or anything else. And honestly...
No, but you know the songs, because everybody knows Elvis songs.
I do,
yeah.
But I got to tell you, I am more appreciative of the songs now than I was before I saw the movie.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so now my wife, though, who grew up with Elvis because she had older parents and older brothers. And so that was, they watched all the specials on TV. They did everything like that. She had a whole different experience. And while she enjoyed the movie, she felt that she wanted to see some different things within there, like maybe some more explanations on certain pieces. And for me, as not knowing about it, it didn't bother me.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So, yeah. So it's kind of... that's kind of a weird spot to be in. Like she still said, she was like, I enjoyed it. It was just there were spots in there that she felt was lacking, or that maybe made her sad because they didn't fully examine or fully explain like a behavior. Whereas to me, I took it as a different way, because I was like, oh no, I got the context of that and what they were trying to say in that, because I don't know any of the other stuff. If that makes sense. It's a visual feast. It is frenetic. It is chaotic at times. It is.
What does that mean? Is that like the pacing,
the editing, or the visuals that are coming at you?
Okay.
Like you've seen it in the trailer where Elvis is at I think he's in Vegas, and he's like on the ground kind of, and the camera is pushing in, and it goes boom, 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 and it changes outfits each time. And that, so there's some of those. There's some where you will just, it's very Baz Luhrmann. It's like,
okay, but do you need to see this at the cinema? Could you see it at home and have the same effect?
I think if you had the right sound system, it would. The thing though that kind of worries me, that if you're watching this at home, that you might not be as fully engaged. Like there's distractions that could pull you out of it, because it can be a casual watch.
Top tip for when watching anything at the moment: have a basket for your mobile phones and your iPads, and put them away from you, because seriously,
it becomes habit, right? You just pull it out.
Yeah,
and,
it does.
Yeah. And there are quieter moments in this, and it takes you on an emotional journey. And we start from, we start at the end and then work our way forward, but then it's interspersed. I mean, we get to see it's mostly a chronological progression with some flashbacks within the flashback, and it totally makes sense. It's not, you don't get lost in it, anything like that, because the flashback within a flashback would be Elvis as an adult thinking back to when he was a kid. So there's two visually different characters there, but they still look very similar too. It's an emotional story. I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, it really was. It's high energy. It's you feel the stress that he is feeling towards the end. And there's this, it's not really an urgency. There's a tension that is building. Because we know that, I think everybody, Elvis died. That's,
Elvis is not dead.
Well, depending on which magazine or newspaper you read, he could be with JFK. They're sitting in, someplace, Barbados or something. I don't know, slipping Mai Tais.
Yeah.
It is, like, for me, I totally recommend it. Like, I had a blast with the movie, and I would love for people to see this. I also know, though, that people coming out of this are going to be going, I didn't enjoy it. It was too long, or I didn't like the movie. I didn't like the pace at which things were coming at me. The pace itself of the movie it's consistent. It's not patient. It's not slow, but it's also not fast. But you have this ramping up of energy as the story goes along. And so it takes you on an emotional ride, Yeah,
Baz Luhrmann, because I love Romeo and Juliet. I know you like Moulin Rouge, but I'm not a huge fan.
Okay.
Didn't like
Great Gatsby.
The Great Gaps. But what was the other one you did?
Australia, which I've never seen.
Australia,
that one.
Which I didn't mind. I know a lot of people didn't like that at all. So there's like this tipping scale, like, as to
my guess
what
is
you feel it's like.
Like, I would compare it more, especially with the visual styles and the angle changes and the cutting, all the editing and everything. I would compare it more to Moulin Rouge than I would to.
Right. It's not your typical biopic, then. Like Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, it is. It's different. You have the Elton John one, Rocket Man. That was fantastical. Yeah. Right. You're told that this is based on a fantasy. Like, I love Bohemian Rhapsody, but I know a ton of people hate that movie.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No,
but I like Rocket Man. So
okay, I loved Rocket Man also, but I just it's
okay. Have you seen Walk the Line?
Dude.
See,
Joaquin
that was incredible.
Phoenix was robbed by not winning something.
Seriously.
No. So as far as a musical biopic, it's of telling a life story. It's similar to all of those. You know what I mean? Like you get the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, you get it all in there. But out of all of those, the visual stylings are not like any of them. It's
right. Okay.
You know,
so it's doing its own thing at least.
Yes,
it's different.
And I think that's really where it's going to come down to. A lot of it is that people, you're either on board with how the presentation is or you're not. I'm not. I would be curious that if there are people who are just like, yeah, that was okay. You know what I mean? Like you walk out kind of ambivalent one way or the other. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Wow. Let us know in the comments below. Are you going to see this? Are you a fan of Elvis? Because I know there are some diehard fans that I think their take on this would be very interesting. Yep.
Dude, I almost spit coffee out of my nose. Oh, goodness.
You spat coffee out of your nose? Wow. Talent. Chris's party talent.
Oh, no. That's drowning.
And so now to something completely different. I'm going to talk about anime. So Netflix dropped a new anime this morning, actually. It's weird. They normally drop anime on the Friday. But because they had a big title, which was Spiderhead, which, by the way, when I opened my Netflix account on Friday, Spiderhead was not the movie that was up front. I had to search for Spiderhead.
Are you kidding me?
I had to type it up. Nope. For it to pop up. This is a huge film, big budget. Thor is in there, and I was just like, that is bonkers.
I've seen a lot of people though, you know, on Twitter and stuff like that, being very confused at the marketing on that. That like nobody had heard about this.
Yeah.
And it's directed by Joseph Kosinski, who has the biggest movie it's Top Gun Maverick, which is much better than Jurassic World.
Yes.
But anyway.
Much better than the poo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's weird.
But anyway, Spriggan.
Oh.
So this morning, I got up like Christmas morning, yay, new anime, because I love my anime. The weird thing is it's 6 episodes, so that's a weird number for anime, but they're 45 minutes a piece.
Oh.
So, yeah, so we get like chunk episodes, like, you know how many series Netflix released that are 6 episodes and are 45 minutes a piece. So it's like they've done that with their anime, which is great. It's based off a manga, depending on how you want to pronounce it, that has quite a diehard following if you compare them to Hunter x Hunter or Dragon Ball Z. Those sort of kind of cult following that people really love it. It's never been adapted into an anime. It has had a movie and a game. But this anime has been coming out for years. I remember back late 2019 seeing a trailer for this going, this is going to come out early 2020. And then it just kept on disappearing until now, finally, we get 6 episodes. But it also doesn't finish the story of these 6 episodes. And there's a post-credit scene that kind of tells us that there's more coming. Okay. My worry is that unless they've been working on it already and we're going to get it like next year or late this year, any kind of momentum they've brought up on the fan bases is going to be lost again, because people don't have time to wait 2 or 3 years. Much like Stranger Things, which has millions and millions and millions of fans, people still had to go, I need to watch the entire series again to remind myself what the hell was going on in the Upside Down. However, putting all that aside, this was brilliant. Really, really good. So what is Spriggan, Ruben, you ask? I hear everybody, the millions of people that are listening and watching. Spriggan, if you take the most advanced civilizations from different planets and take the premise that they all lived on Earth in ancient times, long, long and long ago, and they built technology up to such a place where they had like temporal magics almost, like they were as most advanced that they could get, but as like with all humans, what stuff happens, they destroyed themselves, and so they leave us warnings with like little tablets, some on high, some Hebrew, some really ancient text in a metal that we can't copy. That is like so dense, nothing can cut, and it's like so weird that we shouldn't go down the same path. And even though that there are still relics from the past of what they are capable of doing, we shouldn't use them. So they're like under Mount Fiji. There's a big relic. Noah's Ark is actually a relic. So they take real world kind of story elements and then give it a fictionalized thing. And so we have the mixture of really interesting science with mysticism, with magics. And then we take our Spriggan characters, which are super beings, or like they're human, but they got like these exoskeleton suits. They're souped up to stop the world governments from taking the technologies and using them for their own gain. So basically, Spriggan gets there to the relics beforehand and hides them so nobody else can have them. And so we have this one kid who's 16, and he is a Spriggan. He's been taught how to fight. He's done all the stuff. But the thing that this anime does really well is it drops you in the middle of the story. There's no origin. It just goes for it. Episode 1, we're dealing with having to save the world, and it goes. And each episode is like a thing. They're stopping another relic that they've found, and they're going to go that way and try and stop them. Now, the action is mental. Like when it gets going, it's like some of the best anime fight sequences you're likely to see. You can see why they've taken so many years to get there. Really fun character designs, really fun character movements. It doesn't feel cheap, like the background stuff that's going on doesn't feel like everybody's just standing static. Some of those really cheap anime, they didn't even bother finishing the animation in some of those. It feels like they've put budget into it, and there's a lot of time and care that's gone into it. There are some background characters that I wanted to know more about that we never kind of find out. And I think that comes from part of the kind of dropping you in and you having to figure out what's going on along the way. It definitely leads itself going, okay, this is a bit of the story. Now get to know the world. We've got more coming. So if there's more coming, I think it's a great first chunk. If there isn't, people are going to be pissed. So it's in their best interest to do more. But you never know with Netflix, do you?
No, we don't. Well, now, so I get a couple of questions on this.
Yeah.
So does it bounce around to different worlds? Like so that the Spriggans are on, or is it all on Earth?
It's all on Earth.
Okay.
The relics are all on Earth.
Okay.
And as each continent finds one, the Spriggan organization is called to either stop them from getting it or recover it.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's the relics really do differ because one episode can be a haunted forest, and you got to deal with its supernatural abilities, and then the next episode can be a mechanoid robot that is got a ridiculous amount of power. And we don't understand how a civilization in the past has so much power, laser beams and whatnot. That shouldn't be possible. And what is this metal? The metal is like outside of time and doesn't age. And so we have all these questions. But you can imagine what happens if a government gets hold of that and what they would do with it. Yeah, I mean, it's just obvious. But is the organization that the Spriggans work for actually the good guys? And that's the questions that starts leading you to ask yourself, who are the good guys?
Well, did you read the manga? Or
no.
Okay, so I can go. The series is built for somebody to be able to access,
just jump in and
without any type
figure out
of
what's going on.
Like it gives you enough information as it goes along that you can.
The first episode, you'll be like, "What the hell is going on?" I don't know any of these characters. I don't know who this is, but then, like later on, you're just like, "Oh yeah, okay." I start figuring that out.
Okay.
Yeah, you pick it up, which it doesn't treat you like you're stupid.
Nice.
It just says, "Yeah, you go. This is what's going on."
Did it drop all the episodes at once, or is this a weekly?
Yeah, 6 episode done.
Okay.
Yeah, all out.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Well, and because you've said before that normally like these are like 22 minutes, right? Ish when they do. So it's almost like 12 episodes.
It basically is. But I think they've done the 45-minute episodes because they're almost like a contained story for each episode.
Nice.
There's an overarch, but there's a location that you go to for each episode, which is great. They even named them. One is called the Ark, so you know that you're going to Noah's Ark or something.
Nice.
I love that episode because I thought that was so weird, taking that kind of Christian background lore from Noah's Ark and then putting it into what if it was actually this sort of thing. And
that's fun.
some people were like, that's not true, but it's like, you're watching anime, dude. Lighten up.
just have fun with it, right? That's cool. That's
yeah.
All right, well, hopefully they do have, especially if it's left in the middle of the story, that they have it maybe even already done. And I don't know how long they've been working on this, but you would hope that the wait would not be long for that. Okay.
I mean, apart from the relics, the really interesting story is the Spriggans themselves. So our protagonist is 16 years old. He goes to school. He tries to balance a life between being a 16-year-old and having friends, but also working for this government as an assassin or a guy that protects anything with these exosuits. He's obviously had some in-depth training, like the best of everything. But we kind of get to know that there are more with different abilities of the Spriggans, and you don't really know where they come from or why they were created or how many. They just kind of pop up. Everyone seems to be more powerful than the 16-year-old kid, so he's like the underdog, so you're rooting for him. Yeah.
Do you get the sense that it's going to be like him having a realization or seeing that maybe the Spriggan organization is not really necessarily the good guys, and so he works then to change that or to take that down? I mean, do you get any type of you don't have to give spoilers like that, but I mean, like,
no, I don't know. Like, it could totally be that. It could be that part of the organization, like, I don't know. So at the end of it, it could be that part of the organization is bad and part of it's good. Like, maybe the higher ups have an ulterior motive, but the people down below are doing what they think is right. Which I think could be the way it goes. Okay. So,
cool.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Nice. Right on. Okay, so last on my list really is one that was not on my radar at all. My wife actually brought it to me. She was like, "Hey, have you heard about this?" And it's called Navalny, and it's a documentary movie on HBO Max. What? Navalny, Navalny. So it's about the real life Russian lawyer activist taking on Putin, and who currently has just been transferred to like this nondescript high security, maximum security prison somewhere in Russia. And they don't know where he is because he's a dissident, and he was gaining a lot of popularity. This,
wow.
Okay. So this documentary, there is a point in it where literally I stopped breathing and my mouth was open. It really? Like, you're like, and then from that point on, no, it's riveting and it's intriguing up until that point. But at that moment, the intensity of the storytelling like increases dramatically. There is so much suspense that's built, but you know what's coming. I mean, that's the thing. And he kind of knows what's coming. And so and they're talking about it, what's coming. And that's it. So you're watching this. I mean, it's hour and a half, maybe, documentary, that is just from start to finish, absolutely worth watching. I never heard of it. Yeah. I hadn't either. I was like, and we watched the trailer first because I had another documentary that I wanted to watch, and so I was like, well, I don't even know about this. Let's turn this on. Let's see what it is. And I was like, oh yes, we are going to watch that right now. Because it's important for today also. That's the other thing, that because it's talking about governmental power and people's ability to speak up against power. And so while it is set against the Russian backdrop, you can take this and put it into any governmental system, where people are unable to speak, and it's terrifying. It's eye-opening. What I don't know. Have you ever read the book Once Upon a Time in Russia by Ben? Let's see. I had pulled it up. What is it? Ben Mesrich.
No, telling me the author name doesn't change the fact I haven't seen it, Chris.
Okay, so it's this book.
Sorry, I'm being really cheeky.
No, the book is it talks about the Russian oligarchy, and so it gives it's an incredible read because it's like the amount of facts.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
Why? What got you to read that?
My wife read it and was like, "Dude, I think you'd really enjoy this." And which I don't.
It's such a random book.
I don't like history.
Read.
Like, I'm not a history person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't sit down to just read about history. This is told though. Yeah. This guy, this author, he wrote the books that then turned into the movies for 21. Do you remember 21 with I think Kevin Spacey, where the MIT students take down like Las Vegas?
Oh yeah.
And The Social Network. He wrote the book that became the story for The Social Network. So he knows how to tell a really riveting story, and he's talking about it focuses more as the book goes along on Putin. But which obviously but it was just great because I had all that knowledge already of knowing how some of the oligarchy worked and how Putin came into power and the ruthlessness at which he did, and then some of the other things that they did to rivals. And so you see that play out in this, and I mean there's a whole mystery angle to this documentary which gives you answers, which was even better. I mean if you have the ability, I mean, I know it's on HBO Max here, which I know maybe it's going to come to Sky for you guys, or
it might come to Sky. Yeah,
you should definitely put this on your list to watch. It is horrifyingly entertaining because it's true and it's happening, and you can see where he's at in real time right now. Well, you can't really see where he's at, but within a couple of days ago, he was on in a Russian courthouse, except he was on a TV and he was behind all these bars, and that's how he appears because he's a dissident. So, anyway, Navalny definitely
sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Of all the things you were going to talk about this week, that was not one I thought you were going to talk about.
Well, I had a bunch that I could, but that one, I mean, literally, it was like it shocked me at how good this was. And
nice. Yeah. It's always good to get one of those shocking things that you're just not expecting to be as good as it is.
Absolutely.
Talking about Sky, the Lazarus Project is a top secret organization dedicated to preventing mass extinction events with the ability to make time go backwards. Ooh. So I knew nothing about this. Sky, hey, you got 8 episodes of the screenings called the Lazarus Project, and the only thing I know about Lazarus is from a Carmen song. And if you know who Carmen is like this Christian guy who did like storytelling in his gospel singing. He did Satan Bite the Dust, which always cracked me up, and then there was Lazarus Come Forth.
He was like Meatloaf, except in the Christian audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that immediately popped into my mind. That's not this. Lazarus, the Lazarus Project, is Groundhog's Day, and I rolled my eyes because I thought, we've had so many of these. Can you really do anything new under the sun when it comes to this? Yes, apparently you can. What a brilliant concept. You take world extinction events. You have a government who have the ability to reset time back. I think it's like they have like a year, but they don't have a control over it. They don't have a time machine. It's a black hole in space. And they use the whatever, and it's like, okay, that is more believable than us actually creating a time machine. Cool. I got it. So anyway, you have those people that are brought into the organization that are like the best of the best. Those guys that you think that would be brought into something like this. Then you have the 0.0001 persons that has the gene or something in their bloodline that will be awake to experience the fact that we've just gone back in time.
Okay.
And so everybody else forgets, except for these guys that reset it and they're part of the team. Except this one guy who goes, wait a minute, where's the last 6 months of my life gone? And instead of just thinking that he's gone a bit loony, he starts researching into it, and then this special team comes to get him. And I gotta say, as a pilot episode, probably the best damn pilot episode I've seen for a TV series in a long time. It was so fun, full of like explosions, very unusual for a British series. Like normally they go gritty and they go dark, but we don't have too much action. They have great action sequences. It feels like it got a really big budget, but then it's also got that grit that you know and love from the English series, and is also very fun, and you love the characters. So they were just like doubling down to make sure that you were going to watch. Now, I guarantee once you've watched the pilot, you're going to want to watch the rest. It's a very interesting concept and also quite heart rendering. So, as an example, for what one of the characters have had to go in, just told by the story of one of the characters, they have agents that have left the organization before because of stuff that's happened to them while working for this company, the Lazarus Project. She was pregnant, 8 months pregnant, and then a world extinction event happened. So she was pregnant, had the child, a world extinction event happened, time reversed 6 months, and the child that she had the second time around wasn't the same child. So like real world events, because they changed something in the future, so it's not going to be the same thing again. So there were so many cool things that happened in some of the world extinction events that they had to reset the button on, and they have like strict guidelines as to if someone hits a nuke and we're unable to stop it and it starts World War III, reset. And then they go back to a certain time. And it's one day that they go back to until the clock carries on. And then it's one day that they go back to. It's always like 6 months, but wherever they started that world extinction event from. And so it really starts playing with your mind. Like all these things, like new movements that have started, but then don't ever start again because they've had to change something to keep the world from going. Brilliant. Really, really clever.
So it does take into account the whole butterfly effect thing then, right?
Yeah. It has to, yeah.
Have you watched the whole series? Did you watch?
No, I'm like halfway through.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just curious if these, like how the changes compile onto each other over the course.
Yeah, no, like you see how it affects the characters. You see, I think one character did something one time and he forgot to do that thing one time again, and it totally changes his life for like drastic effect. And then they want to go and hit the time machine so they can go and fix it again, but you can't do that unless there's a world extinction event. And then you start playing in your head, but I could just totally hit the reset button and I can maybe save the one that I loved that died, or maybe stop that person from doing that stupid thing that affected. When you have the power of God at the fingertips. Yeah.
The top build guy, like I like him, and I'm gonna like assassinate his name. I'm sure it's Papa.
Yeah, I tried to in my review.
Yeah,
George.
He's Alex Dumani in Gangs of London.
Yeah,
and he was in.
That's just slightly what it.
Yeah. He was James in Men also. So if you didn't like that movie, go with Gangs of London. And he was. So anyway, when I saw that, I'm like, I just looked it up on IMDb. I'm like, I recognize that guy. Why do I recognize that name? Oh my gosh, no, that's so cool. I'm. What is it? 8 episodes? Is that what it is total?
8 episodes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm definitely, once we're done here, I'm kind of itching to go find out what's happened. Like I want to go. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
See, it is. I'm gonna have to figure out how to see this. I may have to get Sky.
The fact that it is Sky, I wouldn't be surprised if it jumps up on HBO soon. Yeah, because they have such a tight partnership. But then also VPNs exist, and you could get Sky. Sky have this thing called Now TV, which is a thing that it's like their buy 1 month for $7.99 or something, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So you could do that, I guess.
Okay. That's cool.
But it's so good. It's so much fun. Like, definitely up my street. Like, it's such a weird concept, and it's somehow refreshed the whole idea of the Groundhog Day, which I didn't think you could do.
It's been done a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recently as well. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Well, outstanding. Well, cool. Do you have anything else on your list that you want to talk about?
Yeah, just a couple of mentions. Like Mad God. Like, I think that film is brilliant, amazing, insane, and stupid. And I don't understand what that movie is about.
Okay, because that was.
I really want to see an interview from the director, the creator, as to what drugs he was smoking. It's
a work of art from
it's amazing
execution standpoint, but it is 80 something minutes or 90 minutes of I don't know what the crap is going on. I mean, I got some people that gave interpretations, which I appreciate, and I like that it has so many different, like, somebody will see it from this way or this way. That's the thing.
But there are so many interpretations that people say. One person saying it means this. Yeah. Other person saying it means this, which is opposite to what that other person was saying.
Well, and you can't, like, it's not like, well, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
I don't know. I mean, so in one,
if you see that, you see.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in one way that's cool, but also did you actually have a story in mind, or is this just a?
Because there was a story for me until there wasn't a story. Like, I was following the protagonist. I thought he was, or whatever that was, was the protagonist, and I was like, yeah, I'm rooting for you, dude.
Yeah.
And then there was a bug thingy, and I was like, what on? And then I thought maybe the bug would survive, and then there was squishing and screaming and crying and dust, and I thought, what on earth? There were so many visually striking moments in it that my brain was like, what on earth have I just seen? Will I ever be able to unsee that? I'm not sure.
Dude, I got to tell you, the scene with the surgeon, that went on for so long.
What was he finding in
I don't know. Just like,
why is that in there?
Yeah, and the sounds were like, I'm not easily grossed out. I mean, I can watch a lot of stuff and just be like, oh, okay. That affected me. Like, I was kind of like, ooh, that's okay. We've gone on, like take a gory scene and it'll last a minute. And then you have these scenes where they do, like, for ridiculous or absurd humor, where they'll carry something out and it was funny, and then it stopped being funny, and then they keep going until it becomes funny again, because you're just like, you're ridiculous for going on this. So that's what this scene was. And I just like, oh, I can't. But at the end of it, I was like, I don't know what the point was.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I mean, it was great that.
But I don't know, I don't know how you get a point after it, because it's like in your back garden, you've been working on this art project for 30 years. Somewhere along the line, unless you are absolutely brilliant at fine-tuning the idea that you wanted, you're gonna lose the point. Because it would be incredibly hard. Just as an author, I keep re-editing my book. Now, if I re-edited my book for 30 years, it wouldn't be the same story, and I would lose the heart of it. And I feel like that's kind of what's happened here. I could be wrong. Maybe there's a really in-depth, deep philosophical meaning behind it. But if that is the case, then it's lost on me.
And me. Yeah, I didn't like it. I mean, I appreciated it, and I made a good distinction. I tried to make that, because some people, well, you just didn't I don't know, whatever it is. You didn't understand it. No, well, you're right. I didn't understand the story, but I understood the art, and I appreciate the art. I think the art was beautiful.
The art it's brilliant, and you can see, like, because he's been working on, like, Jurassic Park and stuff like that, right, for years. You can see where the talent has come in that. But there's a difference between doing that and storytelling. I feel like the story is like, you have to decipher it and you have to put it together. There was a narrative at the beginning, I thought.
Yes.
And then it seems to have lost its plot in some of the psychedelics
Yeah.
sets.
Well, maybe it was like almost like an anthology smashed into one, because once we stop following the assassin, it almost feels like a new story, or we begin again in a different angle. And
kind of giving us the history of how the assassin got there, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I also didn't like the live action bits. It took me out of it. The actors, for it being stop motion and for it to have so little live action with just like the actors, it was weird.
It was weird. Yeah.
But I mean, saying it's weird in this film is
it is kind of nondescript, right? That's kind of a generic.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about was Star Wars. Did you watch the latest episode of Obi-Wan?
I have caught up to Obi-Wan.
Okay, so for anybody that's listening or watching, we're going to do a few spoilers because there's just a few moments I want to talk about the latest episode. I'm glad you've caught up. We know now that the Grand Inquisitor wasn't dead, so all the fans can stop complaining. And we know that the Grand Inquisitor that she became, Obi-Wan, was all like, "Did you not think that I would know?" And that conversation was mute between Obi-Wan and you're like, "He won't know. He'll be focused on me." Once again, Obi-Wan, you got someone killed.
Yeah.
Well done. Now, this is the one I believe the fans were waiting for. The Hayden Christensen and the Obi-Wan, seeing them together on screen. But can I just say, I'm very disappointed in the de-aging of Hayden Christensen. I feel like they almost made him look older.
Yeah.
Like with it. It was weird because he has... Because if you look at him in interviews now, he doesn't look like that. So what they put on his face afterwards made him look older because it was straight, and then it almost made him look like his face was hanging off this way. And I was like, that's not what he looks like. Yeah. So it's like he's gotten taller and older, but they're trying to de-age him. They did a great job with Obi-Wan, with Ewan McGregor, I thought. Kind of just slightly smoother skin, slightly less grey, longer hair. I don't know, because I know their de-aging technology is better than that. We've seen it be better than that before. So I was disappointed in that. That took me out of it. I was surprised nobody was talking about it. Maybe it's nostalgia, and they're like, just seeing them on screen together is amazing, and it is. It's fantastic. I thought their fight was okay. Didn't think it was brilliant. The fight that I loved, and once again, we're seeing how powerful Vader is when he fights the Inquisitor. What did you think of that?
That was so cool. I mean, it was, well, and him stopping the lightsaber so many different times too. It was, I
mean, just before that, he stopped the ship, and my jaw was like, oh crap! He's actually going to do the game thing that people have said, like he's going to do it. Is he going to do it? Yes, he's going to do it.
He was playing with his food, like you had said at the very beginning. You know what I mean? With her, because she has the spinning lightsaber, and he stops it from spinning, and then he just goes, whoa. and then he breaks it though, and tosses her one side of it. That was
the ultimate diss. Go on then. I'll fight you your way if you want.
Exactly. I'm like,
and just before that, he wasn't even fighting her. He was just dodging. Yeah. He was using the Force. Such is his control of the Force. Yes. It was like, wong, wong, whoosh. I was like, dude, you think the Inquisitor is powerful. But if Obi-Wan had fought him then, he would have lost badly.
When Vader was walking towards her, and he was holding both lightsabers, she's on the ground.
Yeah.
Did you think, like, I flashed to Dooku, like when he had.
Yes, for sure. The chopping off the head. I thought he was going to do that.
That's what I did too. Yeah. So
finish it. Yeah. with him on the chair.
Yeah, it was.
I shouldn't.
It was a good episode. I mean, I liked it. It's I
was really sad that the android died. I really like the android. The robot that died, that fell over protecting the woman.
Yes.
That had the thermal detonator. And I grew to like her, over the 2 episodes. I thought she was an interesting character. Leia has grown as well on me because I didn't like her in the first couple of episodes. not her fault, just the way they did some of her showcasing. Yeah, one episode. I'm confused as to
how it's gonna,
what they're gonna do. Yeah, with Tatooine.
Yeah. Okay, so here,
will we see them fight again, or is the Inquisitor fighting Obi-Wan? And she's not dead.
No, she can't be dead. I don't think she's dead either. Okay, now this is a question that popped into my mind this week while I was watching, because I was behind. So I watched 2 episodes.
Yeah, so you had a couple of episodes to watch. Yeah.
But this is the larger thought that popped into my head, because it could also apply to Ms. Marvel. But I'm going to keep it to the Obi-Wan thing first. So we've had weekly releases, and like you even mentioned it, that this is the one that the fans had been waiting for. Like, because there have been a lot of grumblings through the first 4 episodes or whatever, or like, I've seen it on Twitter. Finally, the episode that I wanted, it actually has turned around now or something like that. So my question is, do you think Disney in this instance is doing a disservice to themselves by releasing it weekly? Because fans, because we know how level-headed Star Wars fans are at critiquing things, they're seeing a brief moment in something, and so they're attributing it to the entire series where they haven't seen the entire progression. Whereas if they were able to see it all at once, they could at least then see how the characters are arcing and maybe reduce some of that negativity that comes because they get to appreciate all of it, versus them sitting on one episode that's 27 minutes long or 35 minutes long, you know what I mean, and conjecturing for the entire series.
I mean, it's an interesting case study, at least. I think this one would be interesting to dissect and go into if we ever wanted to do a long talk about this, because where we are as a society, if we take the toxic nature of fan base, number one for me, for sure, is Star Wars fans, without a doubt. There isn't, maybe Marvel fans, DC fans, and Lord of the Rings fans below that. But yeah, that would be how it's stacked up. Toxic fans, man, for Star Wars have been unprecedented, from death threats to almost getting actual actors to commit suicide because of the amount of threats. Like, it's just
out of
awful.
control.
And so, on the one hand, I think Disney went, we need to keep eyeballs on our platform. So that's why we're going to release it weekly. So many people have invested in our platform but aren't taking out the yearly subscription. They're doing monthly, so they can cancel anytime. Therefore, we need to have the comeback this week. Here's the latest Marvel, or here's the latest Star Wars. I get it. But with so many platforms like Amazon, like Netflix, doing the dropping the binge watch, and with society being in the we want everything now, because that's just where we are at the moment, it might be an idea to sometimes drop something like this, even half and half maybe, because some channels do like 3 to 4 episodes of the first season and then do the weekly. So you get a chunk of an idea rather than just a 45-minute thing. And you got to wait a week, you're stewing. It's like, what about all those questions? I really didn't like that. And then some people that have a legitimate, I didn't like this bit. But then you get the fans that are toxic that go, yeah, you're right. And blah, 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 blah. So they take it out of context and make it way worse than it actually is. Whereas if you get that little bit of chunk, you might actually be able to go, yeah, that's not as bad as I thought. Let's see next week's episodes if they're doing it in 2 chunks. And all they had to do is bring Miss Marvel a couple of weeks forward, so when Star Wars finished, they could still just have that weekly release if they wanted with Miss Marvel. Yeah,
like, because I believe, like, if you look at Stranger Things, I think with this last season, or with the part 4, they could have done weekly, and it would have been, I mean, because you had hour-long episodes each time.
They were hour-long episodes. It was enough. Yeah, I agree.
And I think that one is already established enough where you're going to have naysayers, of course. You're going to have people that grumble. And I'm not talking about to remove that, but just on the whole, because it already has an established fan base for this one particular show. You know what I mean? Like, they would watch it weekly and, oh, I didn't like this about it, but I'm excited for what's coming next or whatever, whereas Obi-Wan, while we know the character and we know the universe that this is in, this is its own show, so we don't, it's uncharted territory. And it's just, I'm really curious at how you wouldn't remove, even with Obi-Wan, you wouldn't remove all of the naysayers, all of the criticism. And that I don't think that should be removed, because I think people you can have legitimate reasons that you have problems with something. Like you talked about at the very beginning, Leia running away from these snatchers, right? And her ability to, which doesn't make any sense. Totally. That's very legitimate within there. But also when you see, like, that becomes much smaller of a thing, I think, in the larger picture.
In the larger thing. So now I know Leia has really technical smarts, because I've seen episode 5, and she has a little droid, and she goes up into the vents and figures out why, and she saves the day. Having that in context with the character, you somehow go, okay, you maybe give it a bit more flax. Maybe she is already force sensitive and was able to weave left and right, and yeah. And like, because you could still, as a legitimate critique, go, I still don't buy that she's able to outrun these people that we saw in the first episode. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, because they were right next to her as well.
You know what? And there's nothing wrong with any of these criticisms. But when, I saw that some of these little things became much bigger things, because that's all there was to talk about.
All there was that week. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's where, to maybe combat some of this, the toxicity, at least from a week-to-week standpoint, you know what I mean? Because I think, unfortunately, some people don't tune into the show because they hear all of these negative things, and they never get to the point where they hear, there's somebody who was negative at the beginning going, "Oh wow, when we got to episode 4, I was like, holy crap, this is wonderful," and so, but they don't hear that part. They've only heard the negative up until that part.
They only hear the psychologists say that to counter a negative, you need 7 positives. So someone hears a negative thought or something. Imagine you're a creative on that show and you hear a negative thought, or thousands of them. You need so many more positives to counterbalance that.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's Ruben's top tip. Be more positive.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think we're going to solve this here. And I mean, and every show really has its own type of thing. You know what I mean? Because if the show is warranting an event type of release, so you do it weekly, then do that. I think Mandalorian has established that, that it, people want to see that. I still think, I mean, within the Star Wars universe, it's a little sketchy there because of how people perceive their right to what the story is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, that was my question.
I think something the Star Wars fans need to hear is that everybody has a right to their own opinion. It doesn't mean your opinion is right.
Very true. I like that. Well said.
But yeah, that's all I want to talk about for the best things we watched this week.
Okay. Well,
do you have anything?
I don't. That was all on my list. So we thank you
cool.
Yeah, for tuning in. You can always tweet at us at Best We Watched. Wherever you happen to listen to podcasts, you can check us out there also, because we do a full more segment. So there's like more to be had over there. We'll link it in the description below.
More,
please, sir. May I have some more? There is more of that. Exactly what you just heard there. That there's more of that tangents, randomness, and weirdness, and thoughts and goodness, hopefully in there too, and hopefully maybe some laughs. But, we will link those in the description, but you can search it anywhere that you listen to your podcasts. And if you happen to check us out on one of those, please rate and review us. That helps us out greatly, and we would appreciate that. Check out our Patreon, which new videos all the time. And like Ruben had mentioned this week, we are talking about the best or our favorite movie posters. Last week was the worst ones. These are the best ones. And Ruben is cheating because he has more than 5. So we'll...
That is true.
He sent me the list and it was huge, and that's okay. It's a hard one to narrow down. I totally get it. Oh goodness. So also like, share, subscribe, please. We really appreciate that. Ruben with the Ruby Tuesday. I'm Chris with Movies and Munchies. And with that, we'll see you next week.